Hello guys! Hello everybody. We're very quick, right? Supposedly I will take rest. Okay, then I feel full in my stomach. I'll never eat. Okay, now let's continue to do another topic of live stream. So this is not really that lengthy. I want only to introduce, from the very foundation of what is really helpful, the phases of matter. Okay, phases of matter, as we can remember, we have solid, liquid, and gas, right? Okay, now if the examination will ask you what are the three states of matter, your answer will be liquid, solid, and gas. But it can also rephrase as what are the three stages of matter. And it can also rephrase as another, what are the three states of matter, phases or stages. So sometimes it will be that the word only will be changed, but it means the same thing. Okay, your answer will be solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, and through that also we have homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. So what do you understand by this two kinds of mixture? Okay, this is also related to the phases. For example, if I will mix my calculator with a pentel pen here, actual example or demonstration, and I have my pen here, okay, and I have my mouse, the pink mouse, wow, okay, and the pen paper, okay. Is this a homogeneous mixture or a heterogeneous mixture? Try to recall in your chemistry. And then we can also understand the extensive property, intensive property, extrinsic property, and intrinsic property. Theories and concepts you should know for the basic chemistry. Okay, so that if there are science examination or science quiz bowl, particularly chemistry, we have the adequate knowledge to answer those questions, right? Okay, so this is still a homogeneous mixture because I am combining all solid phase in one area. Calculator is solid, ball pen is solid, pencil pen is solid, and mouse is solid, and paper is solid. So if we talk about homogeneity or heterogeneity of the phases of matter, it talks about phase, Phase. It talks about state, State. Okay, so these are all solids. These are homogeneous mixture. Now, if I will drop this calculator in the zinc of water, so that's already heterogeneous mixture because there's liquid and the calculator is solid. So that's a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, so that's very easy to identify, right? Okay, if we say heterogeneous mixture, homogeneous mixture, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. Now, if we talk about the phases of matter, it cannot be denied that we should have an idea of the word nucleus. Okay, Nucleus. Okay, nucleus. And what's inside the nucleus? Okay, like that. So, what's in the center of the nucleus is an atom. Okay, so we can say by our own explanation, not in the book, that this atom is the smallest or tiny particles. Okay, within the nucleus, something like that. These are the atoms. Okay, so atoms can be classified into different particles. What are those particles? Three subatoms. That is the center of the study of John Dalton, about his Dalton atomic theory. You remember that one? A scientist that focuses on the theory of atomic theory. Okay, so when we speak about atoms, automatically what comes in our mind is the three subatomic particles, which is the proton, neutron, and the electron. Now, what is an electron? We need to differentiate, we need to define so that we can understand clearly, because this basic will be used again and again and again in higher subjects. Okay, in physical chemistry, in thermodynamics, in unit operations. So that's why all higher chemical engineering subjects or BS chemical subjects always have chemistry, because if you don't pass chemistry, you will never take those subjects at the higher level. Okay, like that. So electrons are negatively charged particles. So meaning that is having a higher polarity. Okay, the more it has a higher polarity, it has a higher polarity that is highly conductive. Okay, and one example of conductivity is the transition metals or metals. Okay, those are highly conductive. Okay, or having a high polarity. Water also has a higher polarity, something like that. Okay, it will attract also conductivity. Okay, like that. That's why it's very a good source of polarity or a conductor also. That's why you will become electrocuted. Okay, when you are stepping in the water and there's a flow of electrons somewhere in the wire or somewhere in the cable, something like that, and you become electrocuted due to electric shock. Okay, that will come to the pathway of your body, something like that, go to the internal part of your system. Okay, that's electrons. And what is proton? Okay, proton. Basically, proton is a positively charged particles. Okay, proton that will try to neutralize the electrons flow. So they will counteract with each other. That's why we have the law of magnetism. Okay, and the law of polarity. Okay, it's in there that we need to study the concepts of practical electricity, the electromagnetism. Okay, there, inductance, capacitance, resistance, like that, voltage, and in that we will arrive to the law of Ohm's law. Okay, that is voltage is equals to current times the resistance, something like that. Okay, if there's no electrons flow in the path, there will be no current running into the wire or into the path being considered. So there's no electrical energy. Okay, something like that. So that's proton. How about neutron? Okay, neutron from the word alone, neutral. Okay, the root word is neutral, so it's just coming there, neutral. So meaning to say it is neutrally charged, neutral charge. Okay, electrically neutral. Okay, that's neutron. Okay, who is friendship? Neutron, proton, or electrons or proton? Who has a very good relationship, the proton and the neutron or the electron and the proton? You will be in doubt for this, okay? Because I told you earlier that the electron and proton will react due to the law of magnetism. But the most friendship or the most partnership with each other are the proton and the neutron. They are bonded close together inside the nucleus. Okay, and then the electrons are in the outermost shell of the nucleus running up there because it is a very light mass compared to the proton and the neutron. And what is exactly the mass of the electron? Okay, this is very basic and you have to memorize this. Okay, what is the mass of an electron? Okay, the mass of an electron is 9.11 times 10 to the negative 31 kilogram. Okay, how light is that? Raised to the power negative 31, right? That's the kilogram. Okay, it's different charge and the mass. The mass is really kilogram, but the charge is only the sign. Okay, the charge will be negative, but the mass is in terms of kilogram. Okay, now what is the mass of a proton? The mass of a proton is equal to 1.67 times 10 to the negative 27, nearly equal to the mass of neutron, which is also around 1.66 blah 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 so and so. So it could be rounded off into also 1.67 times 10 to the negative 27 kilogram. So they are almost the same masses. That's the reason behind that these two subatomic particles are partnered with each other inside the nucleus technically. Okay, because their mass are almost the same, of course. Okay, and then the electron is in the outermost shell and it's lighter. That's why the electrons will be flowing from the lighter region. Okay, something like that. It's not on the center because the protons and neutrons are there. Okay, So in that, we have the concept that the mass number of an element is equal to the mass of the proton plus the mass of the neutron, because they are linked together with each other inside the nucleus. Okay, so that's the mass of the element, or mass like that. So mass number of an element. Okay, the mass number of an element is not the atomic mass. It's not the atomic weight. Okay, it's only the mass number, meaning no unit. Okay, that's because that's number. Okay, number itself has no unit. From 1 to 10, from 1 to 9, there's unit. That's why it's called mass number. There's no unit. Unitless. Okay, but atomic weight is in terms of grams per atom if single element. If compound, that is grams per mole. Okay, you get the point? That's why we have molar or molecular weight. Okay, so if we speak about element that is atomic weight, it's not molecular weight, because molecular weight is referring to molecules. What is molecule? Okay, so molecule is a combination of several atoms bonded together in a compact scene. Scene meaning a situation where they are loaded there inside, and that's molecule, composed of a lot of atoms and become a molecule. So you will never say atomic weight. If I have the calcium carbonate or the limestone, something like that, which is a raw material in cement production, right? So if I have the calcium carbonate, so I will not say what is the atomic weight of calcium carbonate. Wrong, technically wrong. You will say what is the molecular weight of calcium carbonate, because calcium carbonate is compound in the first place that composed of several elements bonded with each other. So if you will say, what is the molecular weight of oxygen, that is also wrong, because you're only referring to one element, which is an oxygen. So that is atomic weight. Okay, so these things you need to understand, because it will be keep using in the examination in different subjects, especially if you're taking BS Chemistry and BS Chemical Engineering. Okay, you don't have to be intelligent that much. All you have to do is to exert effort to memorize the basic foundations, theories, and concepts. Especially, chemistry is already discussed in high school. We'll already learn the balancing of chemical equations when we are still third year high school, right? And then, if you are in the college, then you are master to that already, supposedly. Okay? Because it's being taught in our high school. Okay? But the problem is, we take for granted its relevance. Especially if you take a course that is far from science courses, especially if you're taking business administration, be it accountancy, or any college and hard sciences courses. Of course, you will take for granted these sciences subjects that you opted to forget these theories and concepts. Good for those people or individuals that also take up related sciences when they are in college, because of course it will retain to their brain cells the science formulas, theories, and concepts like this. But there are also intelligent people that loves also to remember those things, even though they are not taking science-related courses. Okay, there are also a lot, something like that. It depends also for the interest of any individual. Okay, something like that. Okay, but what I'm trying to imply for the situation is you have to memorize, or inject in your brain cells the most basic foundation in science. Could it be physics? Physics is discussed also in fourth year high school or senior high, okay, like that. And then in college, it again goes back there. Okay, there will be a little bit additional, but it's still the same. Okay, it will start with the force, pressure, blah blah blah, energy, kinetic energy, potential energy. Okay, acceleration due to gravity, velocity, projectile, ganon, momentum, impulse, like that. Okay, displacement, distance is still being covered in physics in college. Okay, that's why you need to memorize the basic concepts. Then I can assure you, you have a chance really to pass certain examinations for that. Especially if you memorize those different definitions and processes. That's what I told you a while ago. Okay, sublimation, evaporation, okay, like that. Condensation, okay, filtration, flotation, okay, humidification, okay, drying, heat transfer, crystallization, a lot of physical and chemical processes. The pyrolysis, Wow. The catalytic cracking in petroleum, meron siya, di ba? The polymerization reaction in organic chemistry, the esterification, wow, esterification, the esterification, okay, like that, okay, a lot. Okay, then load that in your mind. That's why I could say also that's very difficult, but you can manage somewhere along the way if you have that culture and habit to memorize day by day, especially if you are students right now. Okay, if you are really dreaming to become a registered chemical engineer or a registered engineer, then you have to memorize concepts, theories, principles, and practice solving problems all the time. Something like that. Okay. And it doesn't need to be an intelligent for that. Okay, going back to electrons, protons, and neutrons. Now, we have also the electric charge. Electric charge in physics is represented as small letter q. Okay, so small letter q. What is small letter q? That is electric charge, of course. Okay, so what is the unit of an electric charge? Tank, tank, okay, A, blah, 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 okay, blah, blah, blah. Also, questions have no choices, especially if you're watching Battle of the Brains or question. When I was young, I really loved to watch those kinds of, contests. Okay, that's why, it also add me knowledge sometimes because I love to watch those kind of shows. Okay, Battle of the Brains, quiz bowls, something like that. I will take note also in my paper. I will write like this. Okay, so for example, what is the heaviest element in the universe? Oh, like that. Then what is the lightest element in the universe? Then what is the most abundant element in the planet Earth? Then what is the most abundant compound in the planet Earth? Mga ganun siya. Okay, so the most abundant compound in the planet Earth is cellulose. Okay, that's a more combination of sugars. Okay, multi-sugars composed of various sugars banded together. Okay, like that, the isomers, a lot of polymers of sugar are banded together. Okay, that is cellulose. Okay, the most abundant compound in the planet Earth. Okay, so that's only example, and you have to read a lot also, huh? You should become a wide reader so that in the future you have also the eyeglass like this in my eyes. Really, there's a disadvantage also if you love to read too much, and then your eyes also will become strained like that. Okay, because you read a lot. Okay, something like that. Or you watch informative videos or academic videos, something like that. Okay, so the unit of electric charge is coulomb, Coulomb, derived by, of course, the scientist Mr. Coulomb. That is under his discovery. He discovered the electric charge, okay, which is equal to, talaga. Okay, that is equal to 1.67 times 10 to the negative 19 coulomb. Okay, why we need to memorize this? Because in practical electricity, sometimes the question will ask, what is the electric charge? Ganun na siya. Since we know also that electric current or the current in terms of ampere has its formula, which is electric charge divided by the time covered. Now, if you try to ask what is the charge, then you can compute for that because you have the ampere, the electricity current, times the times covered, time in seconds, okay, in minutes. So you can solve for the electric charge for that, okay? So that's the relevance of electrical energy. Okay, for that. And you can compute for the power is equals to work over time. And another formula of work in terms of electrical energy, that is work is equals to the electric times the voltage. Oh my gosh. And then that value also will be substituted to the P is equals to work over time. Then bingo, we can have the power equals the current of the voltage. Remember? Okay, and we have also power is equal. Okay, like that. You can substitute that there. You can have so many formula of power in terms of watts. Okay, 746 watts is equal to how much? 1 horsepower. That is the usual rating for motor pumps or electrical motor pumps or any equipment pump. Okay, the standard really is horsepower. Okay, and then converted to watts, 746 watts is equals to 1 horsepower. So you should know that also, even though you are not an electrical engineer or you are not a mechanical engineer, so common to all engineers that you must know also the rating of a motor pump or generator or whatever, chuba chuchu, that's expressed usually in horsepower or in watts. In that you can compute the power, the time to work delivered by those pump. Okay, something like that. So that's very useful. So electric charge is very useful. Okay, and now you will also understand also the contribution of Michael Faraday. Okay, what is regarding electrochemistry? Okay, what is that? Remember the cathode, the anode, like that, and then the anion, the cation. So it can produce electricity also. Okay, when you connect that battery, there is a positive and negative poles. So the battery is composed of a metal. So I told you a while ago, metal is a high conductive to electricity. So normally that is, I think so, zinc, ZINC. I'm not really that sure. And also have copper for that. Okay, copper. Copper also is a good conductor of electricity also. And you have also now the battery is usually made of lithium. Lithium. It's also a good conductor of electricity. That's why it's used inside our mobile phones. Okay, the main component of our battery is lithium. Lithium. Okay, so you should also know the molecular weight of the atomic weight of lithium. Maybe it will come out in examination. What is the atomic weight of lithium? What is the electricity obtained by a lithium? Ganon. If your cell phone will explode, ganon. Just joking, huh? Okay, but you have to really understand the component of a lithium. Okay, that's an element, metal. I don't know if it is a transition metal. Okay, there's how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. The periodic table master also periodic table periodic master also that one because that is your weapon. Okay, also in studying higher sciences, physical chemistry, gano'n, blah blah blah, or chuba chuba. Okay, and you should know also their electronic configuration. Okay, electronic configuration, right? Because all of the elements has really it will conduct electricity. It depends only with the amount of electricity it will conduct. Because there are also elements that are poor conductor of electricity, but it doesn't mean it will not conduct electricity. It's only poor. Okay, it will conduct but poor. Okay, it's not totally non-conductor. It's poor only. The non-conductor are only insulator. Insulator are those materials that will never conduct electricity. Okay, it will never react to conductivity. Okay, so that's insulator. There's a rubber, like that, the concrete, the wood, the timber, those are insulator. Okay, even though there are electrons flow in the ground, you will just put your feet there and all the electrons flow will never go directly to your body. Because the important in the electricity is the path where the electrons will flow. If there's no path of the electrons to flow, then you will not be electrocuted. Okay, you will not have an electric shock for that. Okay, you understand? Something like that. So you will remove water every time because water is a good conductor of electricity. High polarity siya talaga. Okay, that's the main reason also that every individual has its own electricity value inside our body because we drink water every day. Okay, that's the reason why every human being have its own electricity level. Okay? Yeah. If we touch the metal like this sometimes, because we as human being have electricity. Because we drink water every time. Water is high polarity, magod siya. Okay? Like that. Okay, too much for that. So going back to electrons, protons, and neutrons. This is very useful inside of the nucleus. Okay? And we need to understand this. And this is very useful in molecules, atoms, ions, like that. You have to know what is the difference from ions to molecules. What is the difference from atoms to molecules? Or what also the difference, the most. If you know the differentiation, then you can understand, right? The definition of an ion, the definition of an atom, definition of a molecule, okay, like that, so that you can what is really a cathode, anode, an ion, cation, okay, valence, electrical charge, charges in the outermost shell, in the each element in the periodic table. Okay, ganun siya. Plus yung mga electronic configuration. Okay, yung orbital, SPDF orbital, S orbital, D orbital. How many atoms will occupy in that certain energy level? Remember that one, chemistry? How many atoms will occupy in that orbital? It will occupy only two atoms before going to next orbital. So that's very basic in chemistry. Okay, and it will be used also in electrochemistry. Okay, electrochemistry and thermochemistry. Okay, and sometimes in nuclear chemistry, it can be used also in the designing of nuclear reactor, okay, something like that, missiles, like that in spaceships, equipment and going to the outer space. So this study will be used, nuclear chemistry, thermochemistry, electrochemistry, combine those topics, and then we can create and invent spaceships in going to the outer space. So the basic theory for that is the particles. Proton, electron, neutron, like that. So that's why we have the process of fusion and fission. Okay, theory, fission, F-I-S-I-O-N, and fusion theory. Okay, splitting of the molecules into larger molecules. Larger molecules splitting into smaller molecules. Smaller molecules will produce a larger molecules. The same as in the principles of metabolism in human body. Okay, like that. Catabolism, metabolism. Composed of catabolism and anabolism. Okay, catabolism is the breakdown of large molecules into smaller molecules. That is catabolism. Anabolism is the reverse. Okay, the production of larger molecules from small molecules. So that's all about metabolism. Two types of metabolism, catabolism and anabolism. The same also principle with the fission and fusion in the nuclear chemistry, in the principles of making spaceship in the outer space. So you have to determine that one. Okay, if you really love in designing those equipment, then you will study that one also, especially Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering. Okay, aeronautical engineering and aerospace engineering. These concepts will be used there a lot. Nuclear chemistry. It talks about atoms, okay, like that. The Bernoulli theory used there. If you can remember Bernoulli, okay, the energy, because it takes a lot of energy in order the airplane to fly. Okay, it takes a lot of energy in order the spaceship will move to the outer space. Okay, so that involves a lot of energy, from potential energy to kinetic energy, and then chemical energy to nuclear energy, something like that. Okay, and then you can go there in the outer space. And then you will compute your weight like this, and considering the gravity. Okay, gravity, you know the gravity, 9.81 meter per second squared in metric system, and then in English system 32.2, okay, like that, pound per feet squared. Okay, and you have to memorize that. Okay, that's gravity, law of gravitational force. Okay, that's all about subatomic particles theory. So I hope it gives you a little bit of knowledge. By the way, class, the speed of light is 3 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. Ha! If somebody will tell you, "Oy, Sotero, Engineer Sotero, what is the speed of light?" The speed of light is 3 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, you do not guess, because that is technical figure. Okay, you give the exact figure. The speed of light is 3 times 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. Unless the question will say, so the Engineer Sotero, how is the Earth? What is the age of the Earth now? Earth, the planet Earth. Do you know what is the age of the Earth? Okay. Based on my research, the age of our planet Earth is 3 billion years old already. 3 billion years old already. So that is the age of the planet Earth. Okay? What is the biggest star in the universe? Biggest star. Okay, that is the sun. And what is another term of sun? That is Proxima Centauri. Okay, scientific name of sun. Okay, sun, S-U-N. So things like that, that is trivial question in science, and sometimes it will be asked in the examination in science also. Blank is referred to as this name, like this, okay? Or maybe you should also memorize the types of stars, little bit deeper, small little bit deeper, the comets, asteroids, the planetary signs in the orbits, right? The planets. You know also how many number of moons in the Jupiter. Okay, you should memorize also that one, ha? Okay, how many moons in Neptune? Ganon. Like that. Okay, so maybe it will come out in the examination also. How many stars in the planet Earth? Okay, I'm only joking, but it really have the impact to analyze also that stuffs like that. Okay, it's very interesting and more challenging to do that also sometimes once in a while in our lifetime, right? Okay, thank you so much for watching the short live streaming all about subatomic particles of the nucleus. Okay, thank you so much. If you think you like this video, you can subscribe my YT channel and you can comment down below in the comment section, of course, and then you can click the notification bell for some news updates. I'm seeing your channel. Bye bye, everybody. God bless. Wow. See you later. Ciao.